Hello, it's Saturday the 4th of July. You're tuned in to our 6 p.m. newscast coming to you from Arirang's news centre in Seoul. It's very good to have you with us. I'm Mark Broome. We start our bulletin with the latest developments regarding the outbreak of Middle East Respiratory Syndrome in Korea, and another doctor at the Samsung Medical Center in southern Seoul has been confirmed with the MERS virus. This brings the total number of infections to 185. The latest case comes some 24 hours after a nurse at the same center was confirmed. This is raising concerns the virus is far from being contained at that specific medical facility. Now, since the MERS outbreak began in late May, 13 health professionals from the Samsung Medical Center have contracted the virus. Out of the 185 people diagnosed in Korea, 41 remain in hospital, with 11 of them in critical condition. 111 people have gone on to make complete recoveries. The number of people subject to quarantine has tumbled from over 2,000 on Friday to just over 1,400 as of this Saturday. UNESCO will make a decision in a few hours that could have far-reaching political repercussions. It will hold a vote in Germany on Saturday local time on whether to approve around 24 Japanese industrial facilities as World Heritage Sites. Now, it's a controversial matter as several of the sites used thousands upon thousands of Korean slave labourers in the early to mid-20th century, a fact Japan would rather not mention. Park Ji-won has more.
Gathering in front of the conference hall in Bonn, where the World Heritage Committee meeting will take place, members of various Korean civic organizations and Koreans living in Germany are campaigning to stop the registration of Japan's controversial industrial facilities. 7 out of 23 industrial facilities that Tokyo once registered as UNESCO World Heritage Sites are notorious for using around 60,000 Korean slave laborers during World War II. The Japanese government says it hopes to commemorate the facility's role in its industrialization from 1850 to 1910, but critics say that by using that time period, Tokyo is purposely leaving out a period when forced labor was used there during Japan's colonial rule of Korea from 1910 to 1945. Regarding such attempts, some U.S. lawmakers have also expressed their opposition to the distorted registration. 6 House members, including 7-term lawmaker Michael Honda and 2-term lawmaker Chris Gibson, have sent an official letter to UNESCO World Heritage Chairwoman Maria Boehmer. They stress that they are not against Japan's efforts to mark its own history, but say descriptions of the facility's history have to make clear that Koreans, as well as wartime prisoners from countries like the U.S., the Netherlands, and Britain, were forced to work in such camps. The U.S. lawmakers added that the facility's explanations are incomplete unless they officially recognize the use of slave labor there. They are calling on UNESCO to ask the Japanese government to modify the details of the registration before approving them. Park Ji-won, Arirang News.
Now, 3 senior North Korean officials who worked in Room 39, this is a Workers' Party office that handles leader Kim Jong-un's hidden assets and slush funds, have reportedly fled the country and are currently under protection in South Korea. This is according to a South Korean government source speaking to the Seoul-based YTN news agency. The source also says a former high-ranking political figure in his 70s who used to be in the North Supreme People's Assembly has defected to South Korea and is currently living in Seoul. The source adds that a senior military officer who actually represented North Korea at a conference on South Korea's Jeju Island in the year 2000 has defected from the north to a third country and is waiting to come to South Korea. The officials are jumping ship amid Kim Jong-un's bloody crackdown on anyone perceived to be disloyal to him. Now, in domestic politics, the nation's rival parties have reaffirmed their stances over what to do with the revised National Assembly law, which was vetoed by President Park Geun-hye last week. On Saturday, the ruling Saenuri Party confirmed that its lawmakers will not take part in Monday's re-vote at the National Assembly out of respect for the president's veto. Since the ruling party has a parliamentary majority, its refusal to join the vote means the bill will almost certainly be automatically scrapped, as, under the Constitution, re-votes on veto bills require the attendance of more than 2/3 of lawmakers. The main opposition, New Politics Alliance for Democracy, however, is continuing to badger the ruling party to join the vote. The Liberal Party has also criticised the ruling party's infighting over the fate of its floor leader following President Park's veto. The controversial bill, which is aimed at allowing the Assembly to make requests to executive ordinances, was vetoed on the grounds that it threatens the constitutional principle of the division of power. Tens of thousands of Greeks have taken to the streets of Athens ahead of a crucial referendum on the country's bailout offer. Both sides have been holding huge protests in the Greek capital, with an estimated 20,000 people at the Yes demonstration and slightly more at a nearby rally calling for a no vote. Addressing those opposed to the bailout offer, Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras explained why he too will reject the latest bailout proposal. He said Greeks should vote for dignity by rejecting the austerity imposed by the country's international creditors. Now, slightly away from the no rally, riot police clash with a small group of far-left protesters who were throwing rocks and smashing property in front of the Parliament building. Now, latest opinion polls suggest Greece is evenly split over the vote, with an Ipsos survey putting yes supporters at 44% and no at 43%. Smartphones are further entrenching themselves into the daily lives of people around the world at the expense of the old type of non-internet connected cell phone. A new report shows smartphone shipments are forecast to reach 435 million units, or 80% of total cell phones shipped in the final 3 months of this year. Meanwhile, the smartphone saturation rate here in Korea has led to an explosion in the number of people using their smart devices to buy products online. Data from the Korea Chamber of Commerce and Industry shows the nation's mobile shopping transaction volume increased 127% last year to reach almost $13.2 billion. The overall online shopping market, including mobile shopping, expanded 18% to $40.3 billion in 2014. Now, in health-related news, it has been established for some time that when cells become stressed, they create proteins that can be really harmful to our bodies. But in a possible breakthrough, a local research team has discovered how these proteins break down, and this new finding is expected to facilitate the development of treatments for stress-related diseases. Our Park Se-young has the details.
Cells in our bodies create denatured proteins when they age, go through genetic variation, or become stressed. The proteins can cause brain disorders, cardiovascular diseases, and cancer. Breaking down the harmful proteins before they build up inside the cell can prevent cell death. Now, a research team from Korea has revealed for the first time how cells deal with these proteins.
Our research shows how denatured proteins accumulated inside the cell break down through a process called autophagy.
Autophagy is when cells break down and recycle their own materials. The researchers discovered that an adapter protein called P62 binds abnormally to parts of a protein. They then found that P62 delivers the stress proteins to the lysosome for degradation. This new finding, published in the journal Nature Cell Biology last month, is expected to affect the future development of treatments for degenerative diseases, cancer, and immune system disorders. The researchers have secured the fundamental technology for removing the stress proteins from culture cells and are also in the process of developing new drugs through animal testing. Park Se-young, Arirang News.
Now, the weather is getting hotter and gradually more sticky here in Korea, which naturally means people want to wear more comfortable clothes even in the office. And with this in mind, some of Korea's biggest companies have loosened their summer dress code to help their employees stay fresh and focused. Won Ji-yeon has more.
Here in Korea, the term business casual may not be so casual after all, as most men are still required to wear ties and long pants to work, even in the summer. And as we all know, stuffy office wear is no match for the sticky summer heat. That's why more Korean conglomerates are making way for a seasonal dress code called Coolbiz, which originated in Japan in 2005 and came to Korea the following year. Coolbiz is a combination of the words cool and business, and the idea is to help people stay cool when they're at work. Under the summer dress code, office workers don't have to wear a tie, and they can even wear shorts to work.
We decided to try out the Cool Biz dress code, which is appropriate for the hot weather. The policy has improved our workers' efficiency and satisfaction levels in the office.
Workers say baring your knees at work could be a bit awkward at first, but once you get used to it, it can actually improve your focus, and it also helps save energy.
Since people are wearing shorter pants and thinner clothes, we can turn down the air conditioning in the office. It also feels great to wear clothes that allow for better air circulation.
The Cool Biz fashion is quickly becoming one of the season's hottest trends. In fact, a number of Korean malls are already showcasing the style in their displays. The summer dress code will be in place at participating companies until late August or mid-September. Won Ji-hyun, Arirang News.
Now, before we go, taking a brief look at the weather, and we'll be under partly cloudy skies for the rest of the evening. And it's going to be quite a cool night for the time of the year, with the overnight low dipping to 16 degrees Celsius here in Seoul. Sunday is going to be a bright sunny day across much of the country, with daytime highs in the mid to high 20s. But be aware that there could be some light showers in the afternoon. With that, let's take a look at the weather conditions around the world. Well, that's all we have for now. Do enjoy the rest of your Saturday wherever you're watching us, and stay tuned to Arirang TV. We'll be back with our next newscast at 10 p.m. Korea time. So until then, goodbye.